am joined now by our sports editor, Derrick Lynch, to look ahead to the weekend in sport. Derrick, good morning to you.
Morning, Alan. How are you?
Very well. Before we get to that, though, we'll do a brief look back because, of course, there was provincial under-20 hurling and football action, respectively, on Wednesday and last night. It was Clare v Limerick on Wednesday in the hurling, and then last night, Clare meeting the Rebels in Quilty in the football. Your perspective on how both games went from a Banner County point of view?
Yeah, I suppose good is the simple way of putting it, really. I suppose from the hurlers' perspective, getting the last 3 points of the game to win down on the bridge was very, very good. However, I would temper that by saying I think there's still a good number of aspects of the performance that Terence and the lads won't be happy with. It was laborious at times from a Clare perspective. Now, it's probably still heavy enough going on pitches. We certainly haven't hit summer conditions or anything like that just yet, but the way they put the head down and grounded out was really, really good. I do think there was a little bit of overdoing it around the middle third. For a lot of the game, the Clare inside line were starved of possession, and when it did go in, I thought we struggled to retain it. So, as I said, good to get the points on the board. They've their 2 home games won, which is all you could have asked for, really. So, I'm not trying to be negative here or anything like that, but what I'm saying is there's certainly a ceiling to go to, and I think they will. I actually think a more open space of a Thurles or a Páirc Uí Chaoimh might actually suit them, and that's what's coming next. There's a break now, then Clare play Tip and play Cork on consecutive weeks, and given how the results could go, we're looking very, very strong for at least an away semi-final. So the way it works is the top team in the standings will go straight to the final. 2 plays 3 in a semi-final with the second place team at home. So Clare looking very good now to at least have a semi-final spot, potentially have it at home, and if they win their last 2 games, obviously they'll be straight through to a final. So that's very good, I think, from Terence's point of view. Last night in Quilty could have, and it still was, it was a brilliant night, but it could have been a very, very famous night if Clare could have just got the shot off, and they held on to the ball.
Had the finish the hurlers did.
1-10 apiece, with Clare having the ball in the last 3 minutes of the contest and playing with a very strong breeze behind them, and you could see they were looking for it. Yeah. At one point would have done a fisted effort, would have done, but I suppose it was a big gamble for somebody to take it on, because had the ball been blocked down or turned over or dropped short, suddenly Cork are on the counter and it could have been snatched from you. But I think it was just it was a brilliant performance from a lot of respects. One, I thought Clare went at Cork really, really well, playing into a strong breeze in the first half. They went in 1-3 to 6 points level. Fantastic goal from Evan Cahill on his home turf, if anyone gets to see it back. A marauding run right down the middle and stuck it brilliantly to the bottom corner. Then with the breeze in the second half, Sean Finnell did what Sean Finnell's been doing all year. He kicked an outrageous 2-pointer. He was going away from goal off his right hand side, out towards the sideline, off balance, kicking across his body, all the things you'd be saying to a fella, don't kick from there, and he did it brilliantly. So it was absolutely brilliant from a performance point of view. And I've been saying it for a long time, like this thing of Cork and Clare being judged as Cork being above Clare, we've proven at underage level and at senior level that that's nonsense from now on. And I thought the lads showed great heart last night. Cork got a burst of 1-1 in the third quarter to kind of upset the momentum a little bit after half time, but Clare came back with those brilliant scores from Finnell and a lovely score from Ruben Fallon as well later on out in the left flank. So a lot of positives now for the lads to take from it. They go to the Waterford come to Quilty next Thursday night. A win there would see Clare in a really strong position, but I suppose what's probably going to happen now is Kerry are looking very strong. They walloped Waterford last night. I'd be backing them to beat Cork next week, and then Clare go to Tralee, which it would be monumental to win down there, but it could end up in a scoring difference scenario, being was it Clare or Cork to beat Waterford by more to decide the second place, because only the 2 teams go through to the final in this one. So it's a really good step. But like, you look at it from an overall sense, 3 games in phase 1 for Clare, 3 victories, 1 game now in phase 2, and it's a draw with Cork. They conceded 1 goal against Tip in the first game of phase 1 and conceded a goal last night. So 2 goals in 4 games is a really, really good defensive effort. 110 is not a bad score to concede under the new rules. And Cork only scored 6 points in the first half playing with a gale, so there was a lot to like from a defensive perspective from a Clare point of view. So yeah, really good result. And the most encouraging thing was the crowd that was in Quilty last night. People found the diesel and petrol and whatever they had to find to get there.
Vociferous home support.
Brilliant. It was fantastic to see it. Like, they applauded him off the field afterwards. And if I can just mention, Ellen, the Clare Football Supporters Club have brought out a new beanie coming into the summer season. We live in Ireland, right? It's needed. But it's I think it's a fantastic initiative. It's another way of just supporting the Clare footballers. That old warrior, that soldier of Clare football that is Seamus Hayes, was sitting in the stand last night in Quilty, a black enough night now to be out in the cold selling the hats. So get on to any of the members of the Clare Football supporters committee if you want to get that and to help the lads and support them, because we know senior, minor and under 20 there's a couple of big weeks ahead.
There you go, fashion chat with Derrick Lynch. Who thought we'd have that?
It's a lovely hat. Gorgeous hat, yeah, it's lovely.
And much needed, as you mentioned. Okay, let's move on to the weekend. Sunday, a big day for Clare's senior camogie side. Division 1B final against Dublin. That's at UPMC Nowlan Park in Kilkenny. 12:15 throw in, and it's not just silverware on the line. There's one precious promotion place up to Division 1A up for grabs. We know how agonisingly close Clare were to that last year. Can they get a better result this time around?
Yeah, and I suppose that's the key part. I think the silverware, it's a strange one. The silverware is almost secondary to, on Sunday. It's getting back to Division 1A, and we saw Clare making the breakthrough last year from a championship point of view to the final six, getting to those quarter-finals, and they'll want to be in that top tier of the league, because it's only by playing the top teams. Like you look at this year, Antrim with that win over Cork, what that will do for Antrim Camogie is incredible. So Clare will want to get back there. They drew in the first game up in Abbottstown, and I suppose 6 or 7 games later, is it now a case of who has improved more since that day, who has gotten to grips with their game plan better, who has maybe found a player or two since that day that has come in and kind of shaken up the apple cart a little bit as well. The likes of Aisling Mark coming back for Dublin would be a huge throw in. Obviously she's class. But I think there's a bit of confidence, there's a bit of bounce, there's a bit of comfort in, and it's a strange word to use, but there's a comfort in the way Clare are playing in their game plan this year. They're very, very aware of each other, aware of the space, aware of what everybody's trying to do. It's a very coordinated effort, and I suppose that's down to the coaching of Aaron Considine and the lads, and Eugene obviously leading it from a management point of view. And I suppose getting to play it as well, Alan, on the big day below in Nowlan Park, like, with all due respects to some of the venues that we've gone to following camogie games in recent years, even at the top tier, like Nowlan Park, when you walk out, has pictures of Eddie Kerr and Shefflin and all the rest of them along the walls.
One of the great grounds in the country.
Yeah, you feel like you're in a really revered place, and I think that will lift everybody's performance. And the fact then that it's a double header, and I know like the hurling double header decision was a cod, but from a camogie point of view, from a coverage, from a crowd, from an occasion perspective, it's the right one. And you're on before the big one then, and there'll be a lot of interest in that with Waterford and Galway. Waterford in their first final, and we know that Galway have been brilliant in recent years as well. So it's just great for Clare to be involved in it, and a 12:15 start will mean an early start. I suppose there's a few little bits and pieces to get around on the roads and all the rest of it, but it'll be a big Clare crowd, I'd imagine, and I think the Clare are going there confident. Okay,
you're covering that this evening on Sideline View as well as the minor hurlers too.
Yeah, minor hurlers, and I suppose it's a big game, and you never like to put pressure on young lads. Obviously these are 15, 16, 17 year olds, but I suppose Clare and Limerick both lost their opening rounds, and in terms of progression to the next phases and where you'll be in the final standings and all the rest of it, they'll both want to get back on their feet now with a victory. I thought Clare were very, very unlucky in defeat against Tip the last night. I mean, to score 319 and lose is very rare, but I suppose Tip scoring 420, they were well deserving of it. Injury for Ian O'Brien, I think, is a bit of a blow for the lads, but being at home in the park and all that'll go with it, and they showed this group last year that they lost that opening game or they lost the game to Cork and would ultimately turn it around there was the second match to go and reach an All-Ireland final. So I suppose that's the beauty of this minor championship and the exuberance of youth. They don't dwell on results one way or the other, and no better man than Gerard O'Connell and he's going to kind of lead them in that. So yeah, big game for them tomorrow in Páirc Uí Chaoimh.
Okay, we wish them well, and the Clare Camogie senior side on Sunday afternoon as well. Derrick, thank you very much.